This is Kugan Cassius for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. We're at the final press conference here for James DeGALE's fight with Chris EUBANK this Saturday night, live on ITV Box Office. I'm joined by Chris EUBANK Sr. How are you?
Excellent.
You've, well, I know you've been talking to some of the media, and obviously you've been travelling away, notably in Africa. How was that? Yeah.
Africa is a very well kept secret, and you know, whoever's listening, buy a ticket and go. Pick your country and go. It's an amazing eye opener. Africa.
What parts of Africa were you in, Chris?
Rwanda.
Okay.
Yeah, Rwanda is amazing. You can gorilla track. You can see giraffes. You can go to those game parks, which are incredible. But let's keep to the boxing. Africa is a destination of surprising beauty and opportunity. Remember, most of the world is built on Africa.
Something I found very interesting in that press conference is that you said that you're not convinced that your son will win on Saturday, and we've not heard you speak in this way before. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Is this off the back of the George Groves fight, or is this a different mindset from yourself? Which is it?
Again, from a physical point of view, Junior has brilliance, okay, but there's something not clicking sometimes, so the not clicking is why we say, will he turn up on the night? He's actually a great boxer. That's if he has his mind in that gear. When he doesn't, then yeah, he plods. Now, let's see what happens on the night. On the night, I think there's going to be a fight of attrition. So skill may not even come into it. I hope it does in order for him to actually get in. But it's going to be very difficult against a James DeGALE who is... His style is based on a Pernell Whitaker. Very difficult to beat these guys if you are not 100% physical and that you have the ability to listen to those who've been there before you about your strategic maneuvers in order to close that fight down. James has to run. He can't fight. It's not his style. He's never really done it before. A couple of times he'll stand there and he'll trade, but overall he is a person who goes back and picks you off. And as Junior has proven that he can be outboxed, it looks to me like he's most certainly going to choose that particular style in trying to actually beat Junior. So Junior really has to be on his game, and he's got to use that pendulum movement, side-to-side movement, and he's got to come forward and keep that pressure on. It's as simple as that.
Chris, do you believe that either fighter should retire should they not come out on top Saturday night?
Well, I'm on the inside, and I've been a former participant of this game, and so I understand where Junior is. So, he's not anywhere near burnt out. You see, James has had harder fights. So maybe 4 to 5 hard fights burns out your charge. So he may be in the twilight of his career. In truth, even though Junior will be the type of person to actually invigorate him, he's still in the twilight of his career. Junior has been kept fresh. He hasn't had hard fights. The only hard fight he's had is against George Groves because he made it hard. He didn't come to him side to side. He didn't actually ask permission. He didn't use his jab. He just wanted to use his strength. He chose to use power over speed. And I think he now knows from his own experience that it doesn't work. Always use the speed. Always use your brains. All you have to do is intellectualize what you're doing.
You were very honest straight after Junior's defeat to George Groves in the post-fight press conference. After that, we heard that your son believed that he'd beaten George Groves on the night. Since then, he's been reluctant to answer that question whether he believes he beat George or not. Can you shed any light on whether that's the case and he believes he still beat George Groves?
I actually don't know. If he's still of the mindset that he beat George, then he hasn't learned. So I think he knows. I hope he knows. I mean, it was plain to see. It's a game. And in the game you have tricks, and you have principles, and you have to abide by the game. And when the judges give their decision, whether it's right or wrong, you've got to bow. And if you don't bow, that loses your credibility amongst the people. And what are we trying to win here? It's not just the belt, it's the hearts of the people. And you only do that by being honest. And I want him to be respected by the public. As George Groves is, which is why he should be on the broadcast on Saturday night. We appreciate, strike that. I appreciate George Groves. This has been a champion who has carried himself like a meant. That is with valor, with gallantry. He's been gallant. So I appreciate him and his example.
It's been suggested also, Chris, that you have taken kind of a backward step from Junior's career with your involvement. We know obviously during Junior's early part of his career you were always visibly with him and actively seen from a public perception to be always around him. Not so much over the last sort of few months.
Well, you see...
But you have been travelling, yes.
Yeah, Junior had to be built. So all the time I was around him is what actually generated all of this furor, this interest. I mean, because I have a fan base as well, and I have an idea, and I have experience, and this sounds interesting. And so, yes, I've lent him my my spirit, you can say, and this is why he's a wealthy man. So I know about the business. I know about the craft and the art. I know about the relationship between the individual and the public. All of these things, I'm trying to make sure that he gets it right. Why wouldn't I do that? That's what a father is supposed to do. That's what a manager is supposed to do. That's what a mentor is supposed to do. I've only been doing what I was supposed to do. And I'm even doing it for fighters out there who have nothing to do with me. For instance, all these huge deals that are being done, let's say by Tyson Fury, Canelo, all these huge deals that are going on, do you, the fighters, realize that they are actually making, they being the promoters and the managers, are making a great deal of money on the strength of you? So, without you, they can't do those deals. So, as I was about to point out to Anthony the other day, something distracted me. Get equity in the companies. You are making these companies get equity in the companies. They have to give it to you because without you, they can't make these numbers. And all you're getting is a purse. You've got to wake up or open your eyes. Do not delegate your business responsibilities to others, no matter how much you trust them. It's not about trusting them, it's about business. And if they take your money or if they don't give you part of the deal, it's nothing personal, it's just business.
Chris, can you answer me why you've been so reluctant to talk about the trainer situation?
The training?
The trainer situation.
What is there to say?
You seem like you've been reluctant to talk about...
Well, I'm reluctant because, you see, results. You see, I can talk about Ronnie Davis as being a great trainer.
But are you on board with Nate Vasquez?
Sorry, you asked me a question.
Sorry.
Give me the opportunity to finish.
I apologise.
Okay. Ronnie Davis is a great trainer. Why? Because of the results of which the fighter he was with produced. So don't ask me to make a view on Nate. Junior has to produce and then he can get credit. Otherwise, you're just in a position. Have you been effective? We don't know yet. We know after the fight.
But are you satisfied with the decision to have Nate as his trainer, his full-time trainer?
Whatever makes him happy. I can give my advice, but I can't make you take it.
What was your advice in this situation?
I didn't know. I wasn't part of that. He went over to Vegas as he does. He met him, got on with him. If a fighter's happy, a happy fighter is a good fighter and a better fighter. So I was quiet. Now we have to see what produces or what comes through in terms of his performance on Saturday night. Then we can gauge him. Where I'm concerned, again, I'm sorry, but I've got the 19 World Championship wins. So my critics say, oh, great. Well, if it is great, then if you're not listening to great, then it doesn't matter. But all you fighters out there, find me. Pursue me. I will give you the information. And what? You don't have to take it, but it will make sense to you. Why? Because I've lived this life, and I've come through, and I was taught by the best. And I wasn't taught, again, remember, by them saying, now this is what you would do. No, they turned me over. So they didn't do right by me. Okay, and I'm not angry and I'm not bitter. That's why I am still buoyant. That's why I'm still here. That's why I'm blessed, because I don't take it personally. It's for me to pass back to my son and all of my other sons or compatriots the principles that will actually give them a better future, a better career, how they can protect themselves.
Are you saying that you will judge Nate Vasquez after the fight?
How can I judge him before? Oh, can you? Can you judge him?
Well, you're within the team, and he's been around him for 6 months. So surely you have a gauge of kind of that relationship and potentially how it could work on Saturday night. We obviously know he hasn't had any effective results because he hasn't had a fight with him. But I'm just saying, from the last 6 months, are you satisfied with kind of what's been going on regarding his training situation?
Only the results of the fight will determine that. It's not for me to, his person. Oh, he's a nice guy. Is he effective? Again, that is only known by what happens on the night of the fight. Is he effective?
Will you be in the corner?
No comment.
Okay. We got to 12 minutes without a no comment, but I understand. That's fair enough. When will we find this information out, whether you are or not in the corner? In the fight itself?
You got the first interview today, so no one's hiding from you. Okay, you can always talk to me.
Why won't you answer that question if you're in the corner or not, though, Chris? For what reason? Is it strategic?
It's maybe a tease. Do you want to see me in the corner? Or don't you want to see me in the corner?
I want to see you in the corner.
Well, let's see what the public feels about that. I've heard all these years I'm too close. Let me tell you, in this particular business, this sport, this life of boxing, having someone like me just giving you the information, because it's about brains. All you got to do, guys, is use your brains, and all I'm encouraging you to do is use your brains. And if you do that, in actual fact, there's nothing you can't do. Well, there's one more thing you can do, which really trumps everything else, which is the church, Sunday school, which is God, the power of God. And all you atheists may be looking at me saying, well, you're weird now. Well, I may be weird now, but don't discount and don't forget the fact that I do have 19 World Championship wins. And I do have dual distinction as a police officer. Now, I only can believe in merit because the society will not favor me otherwise. I don't get any chances. I had to work for my position. So all of you out there who are listening to this broadcast, work. If you're not in a privileged position, and if you are institutionally suppressed, use all of that to your advantage. I have. And that's how I've been able to climb out of the crab bucket. Crabs are hitching onto each other to get to the top, and they keep on falling down. I'm an example. I'm here to serve. The example of Christ is to serve, and so I'm trying to follow in that path. That is the example. And every example other than him is poor. And I followed it, and it worked. And again, am I losing you?
No, I'm perfectly with you, Chris.
Okay, again, that example has worked for me, and it will work for you. Especially if you've picked a vocation. and then you apply yourself to prayer. It works. Again, you can call me crazy, but I have the World Championship wins and the dual distinction as testimony to it working. And remember, I don't think I was that good. I just don't. I'm not arguing the point. Don't want to hear any arguments about it. I just don't. So how did I do what I did? God is good.
Chris, are you, excuse my ignorance in this question, but are you like an actual real sheriff?
I showed you.
No, I know. But
what do you mean? This here is. This is the
can
commission
I pan
card.
on here?
Yeah. This is my commission card.
And this is in Louisiana.
This is in Louisiana, but it's global because as a police officer in Louisiana, in Opelousas, it makes me global because it's what I represent. They've given me this because of the work I've done with the community.
What powers does that give you, though, in Louisiana?
It only gives me the power to inspire you to actually obey the law or to protect your brother and sister in the community. If my daughter gets hurt in the community by chance, it's only a matter of chance that it wasn't your daughter. So then it's only a matter of time before it happens to your daughter. So therefore we all have to protect and look after each other. Serve. That's all it's about, okay? The fact that I have been sworn in as a deputy marshal in a court of law, the fact that that has happened is it's huge for the ability that I desire to be able to help the youth. Don't go down that wrong road. And it's all summed up in one word: chivalry. Practice chivalry. Look after the female state, the female. Be respectful to your parents. If I wasn't respectful to my father and my mother, I wouldn't be where I am because they said, look, you go to New York. I said, well, I've got no choice. I have to go. I went, and look what happened. I went to a gym, I stayed in the gym, I became something. Look up the word great. Look up the word chivalry. Look up the word valor and gallant and gallantry. Look up these words, make them part of you. Use them in your language, they will become part of you. Sounds a bit crazy, I know, but then only crazy people get this type of distinction.
Chris, can you actually arrest someone with
Of course,
page?
but you can arrest
But
somebody
not,
too.
No, it's not a citizen's arrest. I mean, does that give you the power to actually, like, handcuff someone, take them down to the station, book them in, all that?
What it gives me the power to do is to dissuade you from actually getting involved in anything illegal.
Have you had to do this?
I do it all the time. I'm doing it now. I do it all the time. It's constant, and that's why I say it's global. And what we need is other celebrities, especially singers and rappers, to become officers in whatever country in order to actually talk and get that message over to youth. The youth are listening to the rappers. They're listening to the singers. They're listening to the actors, the superstars. Become police officers. It may be a bit difficult if you have a past because you have to be vetted by the FBI, certainly in the United States, as I was vetted. You have to be correct. What does your social media say about you? What have you posted? You know, are you using bad language? Are you? If you are, then that will be held against you, just from a spiritual point of view. Why? Because it's never cool. I don't care what anybody says. It's never cool. How do I know? My mother taught me that. You're going to tell me my mother's wrong? No mother is wrong. And even when they are, they're not. Because they are.
I agree with that.
Huh?
I agree with
okay.
that. Two more things, Chris. So the topic of this George Groves thing come up about whether one of the teams had disagreed with him being part of the live broadcast, and you firmly deny that this had anything to do with the EUBANK side, that why George may or may not be part of the broadcast on Saturday, correct?
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, as I said, George Groves is an example. He's a benchmark. He is a standard bearer. You know, George Groves actually is he is good for boxing. He is good for boxing because, you know, he's not foul. He's not foul. He's not rude. He's not ill-mannered. You know, he acts the gentleman. And if you keep on acting it, then you're going to become it. Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, and I will actually make a request to ITV to bring him on. So it isn't our camp. We don't do that. Why? Because we are using that golden thread of integrity, or at least the manager is.
I just had a message actually earlier, about 10 minutes ago, from George Groves' team saying that as far as they're concerned, he's still working on the broadcast Saturday night. That's what I just had a message from their team.
And we pray, because he'll be good for the broadcast. Why? Because he beat both men, both Junior and both DeGALE. Who better to actually broadcast and
100%.
be a commentator on this brilliant occasion?
It'd be great if Naz was there as well. Naz and Groves, that would be a great combination, don't you think?
Who knows? Let's see. I haven't heard anything about Naz.
I haven't either, to be fair. I'm just thinking out loud.
Right.
Just a final question, Chris. How close was this fight to landing on either Sky Sports box office or BT before it wound up on ITV? Could you answer that?
Yes, I can. The considerable pressure that I've been under to stay and keep Junior on track for ITV has been immense. Considerable pressure from the other promoters trying to block it from happening. But with faith, a lot of you guys thought I was sleeping. I wasn't sleeping. I was praying. Otherwise, how could I beat you guys like I've been beating you guys? And I'm talking about you, the promoters. It works.
Chris EUBANK, are you still referred to as English? Or is
Of course.
Okay, because I see that name being used less, that's all. Like you referring to yourself less as English.
No. You can call me Sergeant.
Sergeant.
You can call me Deputy. You can call me Marshal. You can call me English. You can call me IQ. You can call me 190.
How about just Sarge?
You can call me Sarge.
Sarge, all
but
right.
I'd prefer just keep it English.
Okay.
Okay. It's a wonderful contradiction. Beautiful. Thank you.
English, thank you very much for talking to Eiffel TV, and we wish your son the best of luck this Saturday. Tune in, watch it, or be at the O2.
Thank you.
Thank you.